share a few words. But before we get started, we wanted to bring up our new Executive Director of the Office of Native American Affairs from the Office of Attorney General Rob Bonta, Director Janet Bill.
Hili Hili, Halihatman, Hoyowoshnam, Janet Bill. It is truly an honor to stand before you today as the new director for the Office of the Native American Affairs at the California Department of Justice. This is a role of deep responsibility carried out under the leadership of Attorney General Rob Bonta and grounded in respect for the sovereignty of tribal nations within California. A commitment to justice and the preservation of the resilient cultures and enduring heritage of Native peoples. Traditions that have continued despite periods of great challenge and change. Cultural awareness is not only about honoring traditions and history, it is about safeguarding the very lives of Native peoples today. When members of our community go missing or are murdered, it is not only families who suffer the loss, it is our languages, our ceremonies, and our way of life that are put at risk. Protecting Native lives is protecting Native culture. This is why the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous peoples, MMIP, must remain at the forefront of our work. Special thanks are extended to Assemblyman Ramos for his tireless advocacy and historic leadership. Please give him a big round of applause. His work has elevated Native voices in the legislature and continues to drive policies that protect tribal sovereignty, preserve cultural lifeways, and strengthen communities. Gratitude is also expressed to the California Native American Legislative Caucus for championing legislation that reflects the rights, traditions, and priorities of California's First Peoples. To the tribal leaders present today, your leadership is the foundation of this work. You carry forward the histories, languages, and traditions of our nations while navigating the demands of governance in today's world. Your voices guide the protection of sovereignty, your wisdom shapes the policies that serve our people, and your resilience ensures that future generations inherit strong, thriving communities. Your leadership is also essential in confronting the MMIP crisis, standing in the front lines of protecting communities, advocating for justice, and ensuring no one is forgotten. The Department of Justice deeply respects the responsibilities you bear and values the trust you place in us as partners in the shared pursuit of justice. In that same spirit of leadership and service, this gathering also offers an opportunity to honor individuals and communities whose contributions exemplify those very values, advancing justice, strengthening culture, and uplifting others through their dedication. Our Clovis Unified students are young warriors for cultural pride who stood firm in their heritage, securing the rights for Native students to honor their traditions at life's defining milestones. Councilwoman Catalina Chacon, a fearless advocate for tribal sovereignty, unyielding in her fight to protect Native families and confront the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous peoples. Judge Abby Abenanti, a judicial trailblazer whose groundbreaking service shattered barriers, elevated Native voices in the justice system, and set a powerful example of future generations of attorneys such as me. Late Chairman Bo Mazzetti, a visionary leader whose decades of service strengthened tribal governance, built enduring alliances, and safeguarded the future of our people. Lastly, Rosemary Salgado, a beloved leader whose devotion to education transformed lives, opened doors for Native youth, and left a legacy that will inspire for generations to come. Each honoree embodies the values of leadership, cultural preservation, and service that strengthen California as a whole. Under Attorney General Bonta's leadership, the Office of Native American Affairs will continue to expand cultural awareness, protect sacred lands and cultural resources, safeguard our Native children and families, and confront the MMIP crisis. Because when our people are taken, our culture and our future are threatened. This work is inseparable. Protecting lives is protecting sovereignty, and protecting sovereignty is protecting culture. Our office welcomes ongoing dialogue and collaboration. And on behalf of the Attorney General and the California Department of Justice, congratulations are extended to all of our honorees, and a big round of applause to everyone who's made this happen. Mitch Gais, thank you.
All right, let's give her a round of applause there. All right. Our next speaker is honoree Councilwoman Catalina Chacon. Catalina Chacon is a member of her tribal council, the Pechanga Band of Indians, since 2012, and has served as vice chair of the Tribal Alliance of Sovereign Indian Nations, TASIN, a member of the Commission of the Status of Women and Girls, as well as having been a strong proponent of the Feather Alert and working to help resolve the MMIP crisis here in California. Please welcoming our honoree, Councilwoman Catalina Chacon. Yeah.
Miyam, Notun Catalina Chacon, Pechangayam. Good evening, everybody. My name is Catalina Chacon. I'm from the Pechanga Band of Indians. But can I just get one more round of applause for Assemblyman Ramos? Because none of this would happen without him. So I'm truly honored to be here. I'm humbled to receive this honor from the California Native American Caucus. When I think about this recognition, I don't see it as just being about me. I think about my community, my people, and the generations who came before us and paved the way. As a councilwoman for Pechanga, my heart has always been with serving my people and protecting the future of our children. That calling has led me into so many different spaces, working on legislation with Assemblyman Ramos for missing and murdered Indigenous people, working on the Feather Alert also with Assemblyman Ramos. It's been a dream. It's been wonderful. Because every one of our relatives deserves to be found and honored. Serving with TASIN, the Tribal Alliance of Sovereign Indian Nations, where together we strengthen our sovereignty and voice as tribal nations. And working with the California Tribal Families Coalition, where we continue to fight for ICWA and protect the sacred bond of our children so they can be connected with their culture, their families, and their people. I'm also deeply honored to serve as the only Native American woman on the California Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. Thank you. In that space, I carry with me the voices of Native women who for too long have been left out of the conversation. Representation matters, and every seat we hold opens those doors for those who will come after us, like this beautiful young lady Bella in the front. Tonight's recognition reminds me that while the work is hard, it is meaningful. I accept this honor with deep gratitude, not only for myself, for my tribal council, my community, and my family, who continue to give me strength. I also just want to call out some fellow ladies here. Lynn Valbuena, my chair from TASIN. Thank you I've served with Lynn for quite some time on TASIN. Thank you so much. I want to also recognize my fellow councilwoman, Louise Burke. Thank you for being here today. I have with me also Pechanga's Tribal Treasurer, Amy Manier, and Pechanga's Tribal Secretary, Nicole Vasquez-Sutter. Thank you. There are so many of you out here, and I'm blessed to be able to serve. We all serve so hard for our communities and everything we do, and I know we're tired, ladies, but it's not over. We still got to fight. I just want to say thank you so much. Senator Ramos, thank you again. Noshin Lovick, thank you.
All right, let's give her a round of applause there. And it looks like it's an all-woman Women Council at Pachanga, give them a round of applause there. Now at this time, to show that there still is a need in Indian country, even though we've passed several pieces of legislation into law that would call on schools to let our students wear their tribal regalia during graduation, we still run into problems. Problems that we can't see from the state of California, but on the ground, our kids are still going through those issues. And that issue was brought to our attention because of the resiliency inside of the youth there at Clovis Unified School. And they were honored today on the floor. But it shows that there still is a need in Indian country for our voices to be heard, not only in the chambers in the state of California, but throughout the school system in the state of California. With that, I'd like to bring up Bella Garcia from North Fork, Mono, and Jeannie Rocha, and Ethan Molina, if they're still here. Let's give Bella a round of applause there for standing up for her rights.
Manahu, everyone. Ina Nian, Bella Garcia. Hello, my name is Bella Garcia. I'm an enrolled citizen of North Fork Rancheria of Mono Indians from the Central Valley. And for the past 2 years of my life, I've been fighting to wear tribal regalia at graduation. And thanks to Assembly Member James Ramos, Chairman of Tule River, Shinito, former chairwoman of my tribe, Jackie Van Huss, California Indian Legal Services, Indigenous Justice, I was able to do just that, becoming the first Native American woman and student within my school and school district to ever wear a beaded cap, in addition to 2 eagle feathers and a beaded stole, a ribbon skirt, and beaded mock. So our students deserve to go to a school that they feel confident in their identity, and I hope with Assembly Member James Ramos' help, he's been writing legislation in order to do just that. So thank you, Assembly Member James Ramos.
Hello, my name is Ethan Molina. I am Pascua Ayaki, and I am the grandson of Pete Molina. As you may know him as the first Native American to be appointed by a governor from Arnold Schwarzenegger. I never really had that much problem with my school district until the months coming to graduation. That's when my eyes were open to pretty much how corrupt the district was. Luckily, I had the help of an old friend named Xavier, who also went through the same thing, but never thought to tell me what was going on because he felt like it might have passed after him. So with the help of Ramos and Ashley and the lawyers and the attorneys to help me pretty much back me up to get my adornments approved with my feathers, my sash, my medicine bag, my beaded bracelet, everything to be approved so I can go out and be one of the few Native American students in our district to graduate this year.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jenny Rocha. I am part of the Comanche tribe. Graduation was pretty hard. I was pretty scared to walk just because there was so much fight with wearing my stole. And so, sorry, I don't want to get emotional. I think really that nobody should have to be scared to walk at their graduation and represent kind of who they are and what's brought them to where they are today. Yeah, thank you. My tribe has helped me so much throughout my life, so it's to think that my school would just be like, oh no, you can't wear that. Okay? It's if I don't owe them anything at all, it's to represent them the best I can. Thank you guys.
Let's give them another round of applause. They were standing their ground with the administration of the school district that now paved the way for a piece of legislation that's ready for the Senate floor, and it'll go to the governor, that will make sure that who determines what is proper regalia resides with the family and the Native American community, not the school system. Let's give them another round of applause there. Congratulations. Give him another round of applause there. We also had on the floor recognition for Judge Abby, who is the first Native woman who passed the bar exam in the state of California, became a judge. So let's give her a round of applause there. She couldn't be here tonight. We also had as awardees those that paved the way for a lot of us to be here today. And it's the late Rosemary Salgado from Soboba Council. Give her a round of applause there. Rosemary Salgado, last year there was a groundbreaking that took place for an elementary school in the San Jacinto School District. And this month it opened its doors where Native and non-Native children alike will walk through its doors to learn about the accomplishments of Rosemary Salgado. Give her a round of applause there. And earlier today on the floor, we had her sister, Frances Diaz, with us, and sister-in-law, Claudia Salgado, and Soboba Chairman Isaiah Vavenko to say a few words. Vavanko. So let's give them a round of applause. Oh, Soboba Council and Rosemary Salgado's family. And also, we had another awardee that has given so much to Indian country throughout the years. And the late Chairman Bo Mazzetti was also honored on the floor. And he was honored with respected leaders across Indian country. He made positive impacts on individuals and tribal communities across California during his lifetime. He served in the Navy before serving as tribal chairman of his tribe for nearly 20 years as the Rincon Band of Luiseño Indians. His creation of the Tribal Chairpersons Association lives on, and so will his impact on Indian country. Representing him here today on the floor in the State Assembly was his family, and they couldn't be here tonight, but we do owe a lot of gratitude and respect to the Rincon family and to Bo Mazzetti. Give him a round of applause there. We also have with us tonight, so this is the second Native American Legislative Caucus, the floor ceremony. We had honorees last year in our first one, and one I'm going to bring up to speak. I'm not sure if she was ready, but it's the chairwoman, Lynn Valbuena, from the Yohaviatam Samoa Nation, to say a few words. Give her a round of applause there.
Ay, Chico, you know I don't like to be blindsided, darn it. Well, good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to thank the Native American Caucus and all the tribal leaders for being here, but also recognition for our two council members that came with us today. Madam Secretary from Yuhaviatum of San Manuel, please stand. That's my sister. She's hiding behind the fireplace. And then also Joe Morongo. Joe, where are you? Oh, there you are, Joe. And Joe, give a round of applause for Joe, because he's one of the young uns. He's one of the younger generation. He's been on our council for 18 months. He does a great job. So thank you, Joe. Thank you. So anyhow, I just want to say, thank you for everyone for being here and giving recognition to the tribal leaders who work so hard and diligent in Indian country. But like I always say, huh? Ay, ay, ay. Asiya. In our language, that means, oh, shoot. So I won't go there. But But I always say, as Catalina mentioned it, and congratulations, Catalina, again, too, with all your hard work. She's our vice chair of our task and organization. But like Catalina, I always say, it's not about me, but it's about us and we, and that rhymes. But it is, because it's a team effort, as we all know, and more we're seeing more ladies and females doing work in leadership. Back in 1966, when Sam Manuel first signed our Constitution and bylaws back then, all 5 women were female. Those were my aunts and my cousins from San Manuel, and we still have a lot of female leaders in our tribe as well as other tribes. So we all know, just very quickly, because I can go on forever, but I just want to mention how it's a sacrifice, because I know people will always ask, I don't know how all of you do what you do, but it's a sacrifice. You have to have the support at home, whether it's your spouse, your kids, your family, because if you don't, it's not going to work. You have to manage your time. You have to manage what events you're going to. And my chief of staff keeps telling me, you need to know when to say no. But it's hard. But like I said, it comes with dedication and commitment and a passion. You have to love what you do, and I do. So that's why I do it among all of you. So with that, I would like to say thank you to that, but also my cousin Chico. He said to mention about the documentary tomorrow night. As you probably already heard, it'll be shown at the Crest Theater. I understand we have almost 400 RSVPs for that already. We invited all the legislators and many of the tribal leaders that will be there. But it's a 90-minute documentary about our tribe, and so it'll be at the Crest Theater tomorrow at 6 p.m., but prior to that, it's a 5 o'clock reception at 5, and then they'll show the documentary at 6 o'clock for an hour and a half. Then it'll be Q&A, so hopefully many of you can make it there. So again, thank you. And my favorite to-go song is Taking Care of Business by Bachman Turner Overdrive, because women, aren't we always taking care of business and working overtime? Thank you.
Let's give her another round of applause there. And then at 5 o'clock at the Crest Theater, there's going to be the documentary showing of the people of San Manuel Yohaviatam out that way. What's the name of it? Marinam? Yeah? And so they bought out the Crest Theater, popcorn for everybody. It'll be at 5 o'clock. Crest Theater is right over here. All right? And also, one of our awardees, honorees from our first induction, Morning Star Gali. Is she still here? Yeah! Was instrumental in getting the S word removed from the state of California that was derogatory towards Native American women. Give her a round of applause there.
Sasalei, thank you so much, Assemblyman Ramos. It's really an honor to be here in recognition of all of the honorees. We've witnessed and supported Bella's journey over, all of the challenges that she navigated through. And I just want to say, what an honor it is to see her be able to graduate, to be there on the field, and to be able to watch her walk that stage in her full tribal regalia. And so I had to leave a little bit early this afternoon. My youngest daughter still is in school, and so going to pick her up and having to even have a meeting and advocate at that level that she's legally blind and legally deaf. And so to say that, when our children are advocating for themselves, that they're not being disrespectful, that this is what they're taught, to be able to stand up for themselves, that it doesn't warrant a referral for them. And so meeting with the school right away and developing that relationship with them is something that we're doing on an everyday basis. I was back home this weekend at our tribal elections, and when my children were young in school in the Shasta County and Fall River Unified School District, they had a really challenging time in terms of the racism that they experienced in school, that their friends were told, their friends' parents who worked for the school district would say white friends only. And, and I really couldn't believe that, in this moment in time that, that racial prejudice is still there. But just this year now, it was shared by our vice chairman for Pitt River Tribe that he's been working as a football coach. And so all 4 of our high schools in that 4-county region will now have our tribal logo on the back of our football helmets. And so that's just one symbol, you know, in terms of having that visibility and having that awareness that we are on our tribal lands for Isawi, for Pitt River Tribe. And so, again, congratulations. Councilwoman Catalina Chacon, I watch her and just, I'm so always amazed and impressed by how much she does. She's really been a supporter with the Department on the Status of Women, with our Guaranteed Income Pilot Project that we have for survivors of violence in the city and county of San Francisco. It's the first of its kind in terms of providing survivors of violence with the guaranteed income stipend, and she's helped to carry that forward. And, you know, the recognition of just so many of our young people and the all of the leaders that were honored this year, continuing that work and continuing that fight for our children to be seen, heard, and celebrated in this way. And so congratulations to all of the honorees. I want a special thank you to Ashley Rojas, our policy director, who's helped to not only... Thank you, Ashley. Who's done a really amazing job, not only in the education arena, but also with our MMIW work in securing resolutions through the County of Fresno, having a tribal alliance of both federally recognized and non-federally recognized tribes, in securing the BSCC grant. We were able to secure the BSCC grant for Pitt River. I know the next round of grants just came out, so really being able to provide that technical assistance and support to all of the tribes in that way. So with that, Toloquithu.com, all my relations.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause there. And the work continues to have to happen for Indian country. And tomorrow at 8:15 we have a press conference in the Capitol at the governor's press room on NAGPRA issues and repatriation. And we're going to have a hearing at 9 o'clock in room 1100. And on the panel, we're going to have some from UCs, but we also have tribal leaders speaking. And with us today is two chairmen that are going to speak tomorrow, Chairman Sisko and Chairman Neto. Give them a round of applause there.
Hiyukios Nim, Mayak Shine Nito, Mayak Tule River. I'm just here to help out Ramos with everything he does. I appreciate him. You know what I mean? We fought for Bella and these other kids in Clovis Unified, made them bow down a little bit, and hopefully, you know, the schools up north will bow down too with this new bill. And so we're just trying to help Ramos make the NACRA bill stronger now and move on to the next fight with everything we have to battle with as Native people. You know, I'm just happy to have someone like Ramos in that seat he's in, and you know, and support him as much as I can with Tule River's name, because you know, people like him don't come along too often. And you know, sometimes when people get in there, you know, the first time I met him, I told him don't act like an apple, and then he told me some other stuff on the side when he got all res on me when he came over to this part. So you know, I try not to say that to him no more, but now I've learned to get to know him, and I appreciate him. But you know, we us in Tule and Tachi, we have a big fight ahead of us with UC Berkeley and all the universities. They have a lot of our people, and you know, it's pretty sad that our people can't come home just because to be reburied and just to be home again. You know, so it's kind of sickening to go to those places and see our people, you know, with the skulls drilled into, and you know, they have body parts separated, so we can't even put our people together in the places they need to go. You know, so I don't know how people could be that way, but you know, it's happening and it's still happening. So we're just trying to make it stop and bring our people home. You know, I told our Napa coalition that I could care less about the baskets and stuff, because you know, on Tule River we can still make those. I mean, they can have them, but we got to bring our people home. the actual bodies and the bones of our people so they could be laid to rest again. The baskets and everything else could be made again because we still practice culture on our reservation. So, I don't got too much to say because I kind of, this is the fight that I don't like because our people are still there and I'm here, you know what I mean? And we can't go get them, like I'd like to drive to Berkeley right now and fill up the wagon there and of whoever I could take back and make Bella and Kelly and the rest of them take the train, but that's how it goes. That's how sad it is for me. I mean, that I'd leave these live people to go get my real people that are ancestors that fought out of the genocides for us to be here today. So I appreciate Ramos and I appreciate all you guys here. And good job, Bella. I just want to say that in the open. Thank you for fighting for us. I appreciate you.
Hello, everybody. My name's Leo Cisco. I'm the Santa Rosa Renteria tribal member, but I also get the honor of serving as the tribe's chairman. Back in 2019, my first term, we were coming up to Sacramento to negotiate our compact. And AFRAC and Pam asked, well, would you be willing to testify for repatriation? And that was a turning point for myself, because it was something that I really didn't have any knowledge of, but I also knew that those are the very people that our foundation is built upon. So that's when Senator Ramos and I, we developed a very good relationship because, we're very passionate about not forgetting where we come from. And I think many of us at times, we do forget. So as my grandma said, when I get too high on the horse, I usually go out to the cemetery myself and go visit the ones that come before me, mom, grandma, and not to forget who they are and where we came from. But, we appreciate the work that Senator Ramos does, but we need more just like him. There's a lot of expectations placed on Ramos here. He's the only Native American up here in Sacramento. So sometimes when we feel like he doesn't meet the unrealistic expectations according to us, he takes a lot of the blame. But he's willing to work with all the tribes, and he's one of the hardest working people that I know because, we talk to each other quite a bit and develop this relationship far from just being here in Sacramento. So make sure that you attend the repatriation testimony tomorrow, because it also lets our ancestors know that we haven't forgotten about them. Because when I testify before them, I get a phone call the very next day, and they ask me this really stupid question: well, what is it that you want? And I'm going to keep it PG here, but we want our people back. Plain and simple. We shouldn't have to jump through all these hoops because they are not possessions. They are not someone that should be sitting in boxes tagged. They should be buried in the ground and set on the proper journey to which they deserve to be treated with respect. So please, for those of you that have the youth involved, encourage them. Encourage them to go to these institutions of higher learning to try to, help these Indian issues, because we're believing it to them, because we wouldn't have today if it wasn't for those people sitting in those boxes, those ancestors, because they made the ultimate sacrifice. They went through the genocide. And it was nice to hear Governor Newsom apologize to us, but how Chairman Nito said, we're not the ones he needs to be apologizing to. The people that he should be apologizing to are no longer here. So we got to be able to not forget the people that come before, because I was taught at a very young age we lose many of our people twice. Of course, when we lose them physically, but also when we forget about them. So this is our way of always keeping them in our hearts, in our thoughts, and our prayers, and to remember just to always keep that fight, because we rely on Ramos heavily. But please encourage your youth, and if you're willing to take that next step to do what he does, and it's a lot to deal with these politics, please do so. And again, please give him a round of applause, because he's really we may not agree on everything, but the one thing that we do agree on is the fight for Indian country. It needs to go on. So thank you, everyone.
Let's give everybody a round of applause, all the speakers, all the honorees. And tomorrow at 8:15 in the governor's press room, we have our press conference to continue to put pressure on the Cal States and the UCs to ensure that our ancestors' remains come back for proper reburial. And then we have the select committee hearing at 9 o'clock in room 1100. And also here with us today is another member of our select committee, Native American Affairs, Assembly Member Mike Fong. Give him a round of applause there. So it takes collaboration with different legislators to come on and believe in the cause for California Indian people, that we'll have a joint hearing with JLAC, with Chairman Harbidian and myself as chair of the Native American Select Committee. And that'll happen at 9 o'clock. But the next thing is at 8:15 with the press conference, to be able to show our voices there for our ancestors, that we will be able to bring them home and bring closure to this issue, to make sure that we get our ancestors out of those archives, to make sure they have a proper reburial, to never be disturbed again. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Go ahead and enjoy the food, as now we turn it back over to the DJ. Give him a round of applause there.
Hey, you put me on the spot. What are you doing?